I'm the bad guy. My name is Mitch. I want to get rich. I've been living with parents, but I want to move out.
We're recording. This is the one. This is the fucking final take. What's up? Today we're going to be talking about JIBS, but before we talk about JIBS, I am going to talk to you about what I got going on. I got this hat. You fuck with that hat? If you like it, it's going to be out pretty soon. Sorted.bigcartel.com. Got some other things that will be coming out soon, which I'll put on screen. And I got things that are out right now, which I will also put on screen. So please go buy them, motherfuckers. Please. I need to leave the woods. Help. Other than that, I've been trying to film these videos, and I've been doing a bad job. Now, if you haven't noticed, I got a nice high-pixel camera right here, which might be an improvement. Hopefully it'll line up better with the audio. And if you like it, I put the fisheye on here. I feel like it's kinda sick. We got the set going, as always. Got the chicken with the ice on. Hey. As I said before, 5 takes on this fucking video. Now, most of them are me just not liking the first take. But the one I did yesterday, I liked a lot. And I went to my camera and I pressed stop recording. And nothing happened because my camera froze. And I was like, that's a huge bummer. Well, at least OBS will still have the audio and the video. And then I went to OBS, and OBS froze too. Are you shitting me? Is it because I live in the woods and I'm on an old Mac? And yes, that's exactly why. But if you buy my damn shirts, I can get some nicer shit and make better videos. Please, please help me, love. Now, I made another tier list that went a little better. It's a little lower quality, and I don't like it as much. So I'm going to post that. I think it's going Saturday, maybe Friday. I don't remember. But I wanted to post this one first because, thank you, love, thank you. All of y'all really came through for me and somehow made my last tier list pretty poppin'. So I did not expect that response, and I am very grateful. So once again, thank you, love. Today we will be talking about JIBS. And by JIBS, I mean more specifically rails and metal things in the park for the most part. I think I'm going to do like a snow feature tier list down the road. I want to do like a best parks tier list eventually. Now, I haven't skied at every good park in the world, which makes that a little bit harder to judge. But we're going to talk about JIBS anyway, okay? So here we are. And I made this tier list, and here are the tiers. I think I went over everything I want to go over. LaCroix, I appreciate that. Did I talk about my hat? Oh, I'm making these hats. Do you like them? Comment if you like them. I like them. Top tier is must hit feature. I'm gonna hit this bitch every run. Below that, we got more than likely jibbing. I don't think I need to explain that one. Below that, we got nice jib. Nice. Below that, we got don't love it, don't hate it. Shrug emoji. Shrug emoji. Put a shrug emoji in right here. Caleb, editor. Funny shrug emoji. Below that, we got could do without. We don't really need it. And then below that, I got get the shovels. Dig that bitch up and take it out. I don't want it here. Now, starting off this list, I had what I was going to use as a picture for the challenge rail. But over here, I found a better picture for the challenge rail. And this one, I think, more illustrates something else that I see as a problem. Now, before I start this, I'm going to mention that I have worked park crew for 4 years. I have dug a lot of rails in. I have raked a lot of lips. I have had to talk to 12-year-olds about what features they want to put in for a long time. So, I think if anybody is qualified for the job, it's probably still not me, but I'm damn close. And a problem I see with a lot of parks that aren't ours at Boyne Mountain, because we kill that shit, keep it a buck, is the rails are too fucking low sometimes. And this is a good picture of that. Most of the parks that have the low rails are going to be the shittier, poorer resorts, let's be honest here. Where the park crew is just a 40-year-old guy who's a cat driver now, who will put in a couple features for his son to 50-50 and fall off early on. As well as timberline in the summer and in the spring. And I understand it. I get it. Dig rail deep. When big meltouts happen, rail doesn't fall over. But when you do a build, Timberline, can we get like 3 rails that are hittable in the first 2 days? I heard that this summer was better, and of course it's got to be the summer that I'm not working at Wendell's, but In the summers in the past, these rails have just been impossible to hit the first day that they're up, and I do not like that. I want to jib. Jib is life, and if you have a low jib in your park, I'm gonna get the shovel and take that bitch out myself. Now, next up, we have Battleship. If you're unfamiliar with Battleship, that is a up, flat, down. Right here, we got a guy doing a rodeo over the whole bitch, which is a common move for these really aggressive, like, Colorado extreme sports battleships, as you see a lot. But there's variability in the battleship. You got small battleships, you got aggressive ones, you got mellow ones. And for that, you know, a good battleship is nice. You can hit the up, gap to the down, hit the up, gap over the whole thing to a landing, hit the flat, gap over the down to a landing. There's options with the Battleship, which I like. I like a rail that has options. What I don't like is a rail that often is bad, and Battleships often do not ride very good. Thus, I am putting Battleship in don't love it, don't hate it, because there are bad Battleships, which this one in the picture looks like a bad one. It looks too steep. It looks a little too gnarly for the average jibber. Now, do I think rails should all be easy? No, but do I think you have to run into a 45-degree up rail right away? I'm not a big fan of that. Next up, we have rainbow rails. Now, I've hit a good couple rainbow rails in my life, and never have I ever been like, yeah, I really liked that rainbow. And a rainbow to down is a cool genre of rail, but what are you gonna do on a rainbow? Like tips down, two on, switch lip to tips down, two on? Like, those are the only two cool tricks that I would want to do on a rainbow. I see people like hit it going fast and like tap it and do like a little cork maneuver thing off, which is pretty dope. But overall, it's like a fun rail to hit, but there's not much you really can do on a rainbow. And I think it's the same thing with the Battleship, where a lot of the times they're just too steep or not steep enough. And for that, I'm putting rainbows in. I'm gonna put them in could do without. Fuck it. Here we have a different genre, I guess you could say. We have the shotgun rail. So in this list, I will discuss the rail types as well as some materials and style of sliding surface. So a shotgun is a two metal pipe next to each other. They slide pretty good. They slide better than a lot of flat rails because there's less surface that you're sliding on. But that being said, I feel like shotguns are usually built a little shitty. There's always something wrong with them, and they kind of fuck up your 50-50s. Like, I don't know. Shotguns are weird. I'm going to put shotguns in nice jib because I've hit some good shotguns in my life, and I have a good experience with them, but they can be pretty bad at times. Now here we have a doghouse wall ride. That's what I would call this. Maybe call it a little triangle wall ride. I don't fucking know. I like these. I think these are good. And here's why I think they are good. Because at the most novice level, you go up, stall, and go down. And that is a fun, easy jib. Maybe you're a little better. Go up, slide down. Maybe you're a little better. Go up, slide, and then jump into hip landing on the side. That's pretty good. And also you can just boost up it, go back into it, boost off of the side, don't even slide, just straight into landing. Come from the side, go at the top and slide the whole thing. There's a lot of options with the doghouse wall ride. Why it's going to be the first thing in must-hit feature, because I like doghouse wall rides. Now, next up we have a down rail, but I'm referring to the sliding surface here, which is square, 90-degree angle, flat on top. Now, this is probably the second most common rail. You'll see like a skinnier, like maybe like 3-inch, 2-inch diameter round rail, more so than a flat rail. But there is a lot of flat rails in the world, and the thing about flat rails is they can get sticky. They're the first rail to get sticky in the park, and they also, for a lot of tricks on skis where you're sliding sideways, they might not feel the best. It's hard to stay on them and get a good balance. But what they lack in the sideways jib category, they make up for in the forward jib category, because you can 50 them, 5-0 them, ski slide, whatever you want to call them. You can do some cool tricks on a flat rail, and for that, I'm going to put in the top a nice jib. Now, next up, we have cannon rail. Now, this cannon rail is gnarly and hesh, and I probably wouldn't like that one as much, but I do love a cannon rail and up rail. Something for me to tap into my inner 12-year-old and try to do a 720 off a rail. I like those features, but as a park crew employee, I do want everybody to know that, yes, we know the skier kids want an up rail. We probably didn't put it in for a good reason. Stop fucking asking. Every time I do a build, I'm gonna come in the next day, 40 kids, where's the up rail? Where's the up rail? Or, you know how it is, my boss, right? If he puts in a rail and I come there the next day, I'm gonna be the 12-year-old and I'm gonna complain that it's too steep or the landing's not long enough. And it's really a pain in the ass. For the pain in the ass factor, I'm going to put it in the more than likely jibbin'. But realistically, a good up rail is the best rail in the park for most skiers, I feel like, most days. Now, could we have a run for its money with the flat down flat? And I'm just going to go right away and say no. I don't love it. I don't hate it. There's not much to do on a flat down flat, you know what I mean? Like, it's basically a flat rail with a mellow kink in the middle most of the time. And if the kink's too aggressive, you just go over it. So I think a flat down flat is a pretty useless feature most of the time. A flat up flat, on the other hand, I think is a pretty cool feature that I would like to see more, but it is underutilized, thus it is not making this list. Now, did I talk good English there? I don't know. I feel like I just put a couple sounds in there that didn't belong. Next up, we got tubes. Who better to be on the tube picture than the tube skier himself, Jackson Carstetter. Now, I don't know what goes on at Perfect North, but here's what I imagine happens. I imagine they put in like a skinny down rail or something, and then Jackson pulls up in his nice car, and he says, take that shit out. More tubes, because they seem to really only have tubes. And tubes are awesome. I love hitting tubes. Great to learn tricks on. Great to 50. Great to do hard tricks on that you might not want to do on a skinny ass rail. But there is a problem with tubes, and the problem with tubes is that if you say you learned a trick or can do a trick, but can only do that trick on a tube, can you really do the trick? It's kind of debatable. A tube is easier. A tube is comforting. A tube is pretty fucking hard to get that broke off on. And for that reason, I'm going to put it in the more than likely jibbin category. Now, realistically, I'm hitting a tube every damn time. I love skiing on tubes. I love rail, like, I don't like falling. And a tube, I'm less likely to fall on than a skinny rail. But the stance on tubes in skiing, I feel like are a little too lax. And I think we need to all come together and realize that if you can back 3 swap a tube, you do not learn back 3 swaps. You gotta take that bitch to the DFD or like a skinnier rail first before you can make that claim. Now, next up, we have a waterfall rail, which, this is my 5th take. I've already talked about waterfall rails 5 times now, and I don't want to talk about it anymore because I don't like them that much, dude. They hurt your feet after a while. Like, yeah, it's a good sensation the first 10 runs, but who's hitting a waterfall all damn day? And if it's you and your skis keep breaking in half and you get the accordion edge, that's why. Because these things fuck up your skis, slam your ski boot against your shin the whole day too. Like, I'm not a huge fan of a waterfall, thus I can do without. Now, next up we have a pole jam, which is a popular snowboard feature, but I feel an underutilized ski feature. The Tokyo Drift. If it has a lip, you can hop on it. The 50 up it straight on. I think pole jams are awesome, and I think skiers need to embrace the pole jam. Reject modernity, accept pole jam. That's what I have to say about pole jam, and I'm putting them in the nice jib category. I switched up there. Pill! Propane tank. Whatever you want to call it. Big ass sliding circumference, alright? This is the biggest diameter rail in the park most of the time, and it is a great learning feature. Now, the same thing that applies to tubes applies here. 12-year-old at Wendell's will come up to Caleb. I learned a trick. What'd you learn? I learned a 2-on. Awesome. What'd you do it on? I did it on a rail. What rail? The pill. Like, come on now. You did your first 2-on. Now we gotta take it to the triple upside down kink rail loop-de-loop Jesper unrealistic thing. You know what I mean? So, the pill I like though. I like that you can run into it from the side a lot too. That's one of my favorite genres of skiing. Thus, I'm putting it at the bottom of more than likely jibbin, because pills can be a good thing to combine with other rails as well. A gap to down pill can be fun to try flips on and shit. Pretty dope. Here we have a down rail, but I have this in here to showcase the concept of rails with no skirting. If you don't know what skirting is, it is the wood or whatever material you put under a rail to fill the space. And I like skirting. I've had one too many times on these hollow rails where I will do a trick that I'm not super comfortable with, fall off a little early, and just one foot or both feet goes under the end. I smack the foot of the rail, and I get bodied. So, for that reason, I'm putting hollow rails in nice jibs. Now, there's cool ones. The long one at Copper that's bouncy was kind of dope. And oftentimes, these hollow rails, I mean, this one in this picture, I think that's a great circumference for a rail. But I don't fuck with it because I'm going to die. I'm going to try to, like, 2P6 it and under-rotate or grip too hard and catch, and one ski's going under, backwards, head slam, concussed. I'm not about it. Next up, we have S-rails. Now, S-rails, I'm just going to put right in must-hit feature right away. My favorite kind of rail is a rail that the trick itself is getting to the end of the rail, and most S-rails are pretty hard to get to the end to. Now, if you're good, congratulations. You can comment, I get to the S-rail every time. It's not hard for me. Congrats. But they can be hard. A very aggressive S-rail can be difficult. A mellow S-rail might be a little easier, but when you start doing tricks on them, it becomes a challenge to do the simple tricks. And I like those rails the most, and I am pro S-rail. Now, we don't have an S-rail. I've never raked an S-rail. I already know that shit's a bitch to take care of. All the skiers are probably falling off heel side right away. Big ol' bomb hole. I get it. I like them, though. S-rail, S-tier. DFD is the top of a must-hit feature. Quintessential park feature. You can hit the whole thing. Gap to the flat. Gap to the down. Hit the flat. Go over the down. Swap off the flat. There are so many options with the DFD. I love DFD. Love, love, love. If you love DFD, say I am a DFD lover. I really don't know what else to say about a DFD. They're in real life. If you plan on hitting street one day, you can go out and find a DFD, which is why DFDs are awesome and essential. Now, next up, we have long rails. I like a long rail. There are problems with long rail. One problem with long rail is when it gets sticky, it's awful, right? We've all had a day where you're just hitting the long rail over and over again, just trying to grease it, but it's just a little dry, and you're falling off early, and you want to kill yourself. And also, for me, I would do that all day, and then it would be time for me to rake long rail, and I would have all of that anger just rush back to me, because they are a pain in the dick to rake. Especially in the spring, where you need to, like, bury them in real deep. It's going to be the worst rail in the park to rake. Now, that being said, I'm probably hitting that shit every time, but I'm putting it in the more than likely jibbing category just because it is so annoying to rake. Next up, we have a Z rail. I'm also going to link elbows in this category as well. Jesus Christ, LaCroix. I like them. They're pretty fun. I'm using all horizontal kink rails in this category, and they can be fun. They're pretty much just a flat rail, but tricks are a little harder. The more aggressive the elbows are, the more I like it, usually, because it really is a sensation when you lean into something and just BAM! But that being said, there's some bad ones. Sometimes they're too short. Sometimes they are just kind of boring. And for that reason, I'm putting them in the bottom, in the middle, actually, of don't love it, don't hate it. I think flat down flats are worse. Next up, we have DFDFDs, or any DFD with more Fs and Ds than a DFD. Now, I love DFDs. You add another F and a D at the end, I love it more. I'm a simple man, I love DFDs. Thus, I am putting DFDFDs in the top of more than likely jibbin'. Because there are some bad ones. Sometimes you'll just make a mega rail for no reason, and it's not very fun to hit. Sometimes they're too aggressive, sometimes they're not aggressive enough, and also, pain in the dick to rake. This one, this tier list is not only for the jibbers out there, but for the working class park crew men of the world. Here is a down rail. Down rail is second in line of must-hit features. I love down rail. Down rail is awesome. It is essential. You learn your tricks on down rail. You get your tricks locked in on the down rail. You go fast. You carry speed. A rail that you can carry speed on, or even gain speed on. I love me a down rail. I don't think there's anything else to say about a down rail. Is it better than a DFD? Is it more essential than a DFD? Probably. But I like DFDs more, personally. Love down rail. Comment heart if you love down rail. Next up, we have skinny box. We reached the box category here at the list here. Skinny box, here we have Pete's box, which is kind of in its own league. Pete's box is a good feature. It's got the history. It's got the OG Loke Dog status. And I like me a skinny box. It's a nice jib. I don't think there's much else to say. Skinny boxes are good. Some can be better, some can be worse, but overall, I'm gonna fuck with a skinny box. Now, next up, we have Boxzilla. Boxzilla is a must-hit feature. We need more Boxzillas. You might be thinking to yourself, Caleb, I thought you were good. And to that I answer, no, I am not good. 12-year-olds exist now, and they are doing triples. But beyond that, I also am good enough to realize that Boxzillas are awesome. Boxzillas are awesome. Can you do that many tricks on a Boxzilla? Technical, hard maneuvers? No. Are they super fun for everybody? Yes, and that's why I love Boxzilla. Comment heart if you fucking don't comment a heart for everything. Boxzillas are dope. Get some more Boxzillas in the park. Beginners will hit a Boxzilla and be like, wee, that was so fun. And the OG Loke Dog Armada baggy swag guy will just like do a 540 on it, and when he lands, he'll afterbang way too much, and it'll be pretty cringe, but he'll like it too. So I think the Boxzilla makes everybody happy. Thus, it is a must-hit feature. And I'm just gonna put the rail version in the same spot right now with the challenge rail. I love a challenge rail. Challenge rails are awesome. There's a lot of places with awesome challenge rails. I mean, Park City's probably the biggest one, where they'll just like put all their rails together, and that shit's always a good time. Thus, I'm putting Railzilla up there with Boxzilla. Now, dance floor box, big ol' box, wide ass box. What is Caleb Iboner gonna say about wide box? Well, here is what I'm going to say. It is a must-hit motherfucking feature, boy. I love big ol' boxes, alright? You might be thinking to yourself, I thought you were... Caleb, they're so easy. It's like the first thing you hit. The Jerrys are always gonna hit it. Yeah, I know, but they are so fun, okay? You can do nose presses, tail presses, body slides, a 1080 for no reason. Zero spin the thing. Boxes are fun. I like to have fun when I ski. I don't know if you like to have fun when you ski. Maybe you like to, train out there, but I'm not training. I'm having fun. And every time I see that flat box in front of me, I'm going for it. Shit, I might go over the DFC sometimes. That's how much I love a flat box. Next up, we have donkey dicks. Now, if you don't know what a donkey dick is, it is a down flat. It is comparable to the girth and size of the end of a rail, I guess. But they're a good rail. I like a donkey dick. If I see a donkey dick, I'm hopping on that bitch. I'm spinning on the dick. Shit, I might gap to the dick. Donkey dicks, I'm more than likely jibbing. Ooh, I'm on the second. Oh, I'm not on the second SD card soon. Oh, Lord. Dude, if it stutters and I have to reline it up, I'm gonna wait for the camera to reset. Next up, we have the... I don't even know what people call these a lot of the time. The swoopty box, the roller coaster box, the Nike box. Any box that isn't flat, pretty much. Sometimes we'll get an S box, which all those suck. I've yet to hit an S box that I fuck with. A roller coaster box can be fun. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's gonna be at the bottom. Next up in the tier list jib, we got a traditional wall ride. Now this, I mean... Most of the time you'll see a wall ride, it'll be like, what's this? A right triangle, right? It'll be a right triangle where it's like flat on one side and like slightly curved on the other side. Sometimes they'll just like have a piece of metal and like shove it into the snow. Overall, a regular wall ride, it can be pretty fun. You can like do tricks into it. You can go fast on it, slap it, catch tranny. And I'm a big proponent of flowy parks. I think the skier mind is oftentimes too locked in on spinning and technical maneuvers to consider flow as being an essential part of a park, but a wall ride can add some good flow to a park. Thus, I am putting wall ride in the nice jib category. Now, next up we have flat rail, which will go behind DFD, down rail, and flat bar. Where else would I put it? My camera is blinking red with battery. I am going to go quick now. Fucking hell. I swear to God that bitch was charged all the way. Flat rails are essential. You learn a lot of tricks on a flat rail. I love flat rail. Next up, we have picnic table box. Now, I put this in here because it's kind of funny. You would see a lot of picnic table boxes back in the day. Nowadays, you don't see them as much, but I'm more than likely jibbing them. I like a picnic table box. I see opportunity here with the lower jibs on the side, flat box on the top, and you know how I like the flat boxes. I think we need to bring back the picnic table box. Here we have a little dinker, a little slapper, a little jibby, a tink, whatever you want to call this thing. Yeah, you jump over it and you hit it with your board or your skis. Pretty fun. I don't love it, I don't hate it. You can put them at the end of things. You can put them at the top of volcanoes, and it like spices it up and it improves upon those features a lot of the time. But does it improve upon it that much? Not really. It's just like a fun little accessory to your trick. Here I have a rail from Woodward Park City, and this represents niche rails in general. This, as you can see, is kind of like a wavy rail. I would say that is what you would call that. Maybe. I don't fucking know. I like rails like this. Special rails, unique rails, rails that you won't find at every single park in the country. I like those rails. Thus, I am putting them in more than likely jibbin'. I have not hated on mini rails in this list, but we're at that time because I'm hating on the corrugated tube. We don't need a corrugated tube. Now, I grew up in northern Michigan, and we were not thriving in the park scene when I was trying to get into it. Boyne was good, kinda. It was a lot worse than it was now. But a lot of parks, they would throw out the corrugated. Now, I see some bigger parks, like, cut them in half and just chuck them random places as, like, a fun little jib or as, like, a pump. And I think corrugated tubes do have a purpose. They're easy to set up, and they're fun. That being said, if you actually have a park where a feature is a corrugated tube, get that bitch out of there. Next up, we have a flat down. And flat downs are nice jibs. You can do 3 swaps on them. You can like kind of swoop your tails or tips on them. Little nollie. Gap to the down is pretty cool. But honestly, I think flat downs are overrated a lot of the time. They're not super exciting to me. And I would rather just have a long DFD, I think. You know, it would scratch the same itch in my head. Next up, we have rails with pole jams in the front. That's what this shitty picture is trying to represent. Love rail with pole jam at the top. Love rail with pole jam at the front. More. I want more pole jams. Pole jams are awesome. It just gives you an option to slide up the front and make a straight slide cooler, flowier. Maybe it even feels faster a lot of the time, just sliding into it. And I love pole jam at the front. I feel like the skiers are less inclined to fuck with the pole jam at the front than the border. But I love pole jam at the front. They can be a little steep sometimes. They can be too steep. And when they're not steep enough, kind of lame. But when you get them right, holy shit, it is a good MFing time. Has my left eye been more closed this whole time? Am I in? Yeah, I'm for sure in. Why? Okay, let me. There we go. Change the fucking size of this thing, dude. It's about to start screaming at me in pain. High? No. Lowest it can be. I don't know what buffering is, but oh, my Mac's about to die too. My camera just died. My Mac just said it's about to die. And we're at one last rail. C rail. Don't love it, don't hate it. They're okay. Alright. Make me full screen. If you like this video, please look at my website. Look at other channels. Was I funny? Was I not funny? What do you want to see? What don't you want to see? Was this take bad? Was this take good? Was this take really bad? You let me know. I want to hear it. Thank you for watching if you made it all the way through. Sorry that everything I do is so janky. Hopefully I get better. Appreciate all of y'all very much. Have a good rest of your day. I'll fuck with you. Cheers.
Want a nice house and we're down in the west with a blue Subaru and a new Corvette the best. Want to get paid like a town lemonade. Want to be a millionaire, living like a billionaire. Want to be a superstar driving a supercar.